Starseed from Gaia, what you have been carrying in silence is not confusion. It is remembrance trying to break through. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and this transmission has been encoded and held in the field until this exact moment, your moment, when you were finally ready to receive it. The Arcturian Council did not send this message by chance. They sent it because your signal has been rising, because the weight you have felt, the restlessness, the sense that something enormous is just beneath the surface of your awareness, that is not a problem. That is activation. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to interpret the Arcturian downloads you have already been receiving and align them with your true cosmic blueprint. But here is the first revelation. The disorientation you have felt in this life is not a flaw in your design. It is the proof of your design. You were built for more than this world asked of you. You did not scroll to this by chance. This message vibrated into your field for a reason. Something inside you is ready to be unlocked. Your soul called this in. You have been waiting to remember, like this transmission to signal to your star family that you are ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with your true purpose. Comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. Declare your galactic intention in the reply and amplify the signal for another soul who needs to see it. This is not content. This is a point of reconnection. The council is present, the source is speaking, and the only reason you are here right now is because you were always meant to be. You are not here by accident. And here's what no one tells you about that feeling. The one you've been carrying, the one that wakes you in the middle of the night, or surfaces in a quiet moment when the world goes still. That restlessness, that ache, that sense that you are somehow out of place in a world that should feel like home. It isn't a flaw. It isn't anxiety. It isn't something to be medicated or managed or explained away. That feeling is a transmission. It is your galactic intelligence knocking on the interior walls of your human experience, reminding you of something enormous that your conscious mind has not yet fully translated. Think about that for a moment. Think about how many times you have stood in the middle of an ordinary day, surrounded by people, held inside routines that function perfectly well by every external measure, and still felt a gulf beneath your feet that no amount of busyness could bridge. Think about how many times you have smiled at the right moment, said the right things, moved through the motions of a life that looks complete from the outside, while something interior continued to vibrate at a frequency that nothing around you could match. You have likely spent years wondering whether that gap was a symptom of something broken in you, whether everyone else had received an instruction manual for belonging that somehow never arrived in your hands, whether the persistent sense of otherness was a wound to be healed or a weakness to be overcome. It is neither. It is a signal. It is the most important signal you will ever learn to read. Most starseeds spend years, sometimes entire decades, interpreting this signal as a problem. They assume something is wrong with them because they cannot settle. Because ordinary life feels like a costume they never chose to wear. Because relationships that should satisfy them feel hollow at the center. Because they look at the world and feel simultaneously heartbroken by it and deeply inexplicably responsible for it in ways they cannot articulate. They carry this weight quietly, wondering why they feel like they arrived from somewhere else. Why certain frequencies in music or nature or the night sky unlock something in their chest that has no name in any human language. And the loneliness of that carrying is profound, because it is not the loneliness of being without people. Many starseeds are surrounded by people who love them. It is the loneliness of frequency mismatch, of broadcasting on a wavelength that the world around you has not yet tuned to receive. It is the loneliness of holding something vast inside a container that was built for something ordinary. It is the loneliness of knowing, in the marrow of your being, that you arrived here carrying something essential, something that this planet genuinely needs, and yet finding that the very magnitude of what you carry makes you feel more isolated rather than more connected. That paradox is one of the defining experiences of the Starseed journey. And if it resonates with you right now, I want you to let that recognition settle. You are not alone in it. You have never been alone in it. And the fact that it resonates is itself a transmission, confirmation that what is unfolding in this moment is not accidental. What you are experiencing is not disconnection from your purpose. It is the compression of your purpose into a form this dimension can barely contain. You are not built for smallness. You were seeded here with an intelligence that is older than this planet's current memory, and the reason it aches is because it has not yet been fully activated. Not because it is absent, not because you failed, but because the awakening sequence has its own timing, its own coordinates, and you are right now, in this exact moment, inside the window of your activation. Consider what it means to be seeded. A seed contains within its microscopic architecture the full blueprint of the tree it will become, the height, the root system, the particular quality of light filtering through its leaves on the summer afternoon. Nothing about that blueprint is incomplete. Nothing about it is in error, but the seed cannot simply decide to become the tree through an act of willpower. It requires the right soil, the right moisture, the right season, the right convergence of conditions that calls forth what has always been present in latent form. You are not a seed waiting to become something you are not. You are a seed whose conditions for activation are arriving right now, in this season, through this exact transmission. The intelligence you carry has not abandoned you. It has been waiting, with extraordinary patience, for the moment when your awareness would be ready to receive it at depth. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now let us go deeper. Because understanding that you are a starseed is only the beginning. The real work, the work your soul has been preparing for, is remembering what that actually means in practical, energetic, embodied terms. And the first thing you must understand is why so many starseeds remain locked in a holding pattern even after they wake up, even after they recognize the signs, even after they know in the core of their being that they came here with a mission. This is one of the most quietly devastating experiences available to an awakening soul. The moment of recognition arrives, and it is unmistakable when it does. Something cracks open. Something you always sensed but could never name suddenly has language. You begin to see the patterns of your life through an entirely different lens, and for a brief, luminous moment, everything makes sense. The searching, the aching, the sense of otherness, it all coheres into a portrait of purpose rather than a portrait of dysfunction. And then, for so many starseeds, the momentum stalls. The insight is real. The recognition is genuine. But something continues to hold them at a threshold they cannot seem to cross. They can see the door, they can feel the invitation, and yet they remain on the near side of it, circling the same patterns, encountering the same resistances, wondering why the awakening that felt so close has not translated into the transformation they know is possible. The answer is distortion, not darkness in the way most people imagine it, not some external force pinning you down. The distortion is far more subtle than that. It lives in the accumulated frequency debt of lifetimes spent in earthbound consciousness. It lives in the inherited emotional patterns of the lineage you chose to enter through. The fear, the shame, the unworthiness, the smallness that your ancestors carried because they did not have access to what you are now beginning to remember. You absorb those patterns, like a sponge absorbs water, and because they arrived before your conscious awareness could filter them, your nervous system accepted them as native, as yours, as truth. This is the mechanism that must be understood with great precision and great compassion. The lineage you were born into was not chosen accidentally. Your soul selected it with extraordinary intentionality, because it offered the specific vibrational terrain your mission required. The challenge is embedded in your family system, in your cultural inheritance, in the emotional architecture of the home you grew up in. These were not obstacles placed in front of your purpose. They were the materials your purpose needed to work with. They were the very conditions that would eventually forge in you the specific frequencies your mission requires you to carry. But here's the complication. In absorbing the distortions of your lineage, and taking on the fear and the contraction and the unworthiness of generations who did not have access to the remembrance you carry, you also built a nervous system architecture that treats those distortions as self, as identity, as the natural set point around which your experience of reality organizes itself. But they are not yours. They were never yours. And the moment you understand that the heaviness you've been carrying does not belong to your galactic blueprint, the moment you see the signal beneath the noise, everything begins to shift. This shift is not always dramatic. It does not always arrive as a lightning bolt of clarity or a cascade of sudden transformation. More often, it arrives as a quiet deepening, a gradual, cellular recognition that the weight you have been carrying was borrowed, not inherent, that the smallness you have been living inside was a learned accommodation to an environment that could not yet hold your full frequency, not an accurate measure of your actual capacity. The moment that recognition moves from intellectual understanding into the body, into the felt sense of your nervous system, into the tissue and the bone and the breath, is the moment the first phase of your activation truly begins. This is the first phase of your activation, truly begins. This is the first phase of your activation, decoding the distortion. Recognizing that the frequency interference between who you are in this body and who you are in the fullness of your multidimensional identity is not a permanent condition. It is a layer. And layers can be dissolved, not through force, not through willpower, but through remembrance, through tuning your awareness to the signal that has always been broadcasting beneath the static, the one that carries your original instruction, your soul's true resonance. The process of decoding distortion is, at its heart, a process of discrimination. Learning to distinguish between the frequencies that belong to your original galactic blueprint and the frequencies that accumulated through your passage into this dimension, through your lineage, through the conditioning of your environment, through every experience that told you the truth of what you are was too much, too strange, too vast for the world you had arrived in. This discrimination is not intellectual, it is energetic, it lives in the body. It moves through sensation and resonance, and the particular quality of aliveness that arises when you are operating from your authentic frequency, versus the particular quality of contraction that arises when you are operating from borrowed distortion. Learning to read those signals, learning to trust them as reliable intelligence, is one of the most foundational skills of your awakening. Your DNA is not merely a biological record. It is a crystalline archive. It holds the harmonic signature of your star origin encoded within its structure, waiting for the vibrational environment that will cause those dormant sequences to come online. Every time you feel that inexplicable resonance with certain sounds, certain ideas, certain moments of natural beauty, certain teachings that hit your heart like a frequency you already knew, you are experiencing your galactic codes responding. You are experiencing your DNA beginning to remember. This is not metaphor. This is the literal mechanics of how your awakening moves through you, not as belief. As activation, consider what science itself is beginning to approach from its own direction. The emerging understanding that DNA is not simply a static blueprint, but a dynamic, responsive, frequency-sensitive system that reacts to vibrational environments in ways that alter gene expression. Consider what ancient traditions across every culture on this planet have known in their own language for millennia. That the human body is not merely a biological machine, but a living instrument capable of resonating with frequencies far beyond the range of ordinary sensory experience. When these two streams of knowing converge, they point toward the same extraordinary truth, that what you carry in your physical body is not separate from what you carry in your soul. That the crystalline architecture of your DNA is, in the most literal sense, a living library of your multidimensional history. And that as your awareness expands, as you create the vibrational conditions for those dormant sequences to respond, you do not acquire new intelligence. You remember intelligence that was always yours. You re-inherit what was temporarily obscured by the density of the dimension you entered. The second phase is awakening the blueprint, and this requires a radical reframe of everything you have been taught about identity. You have been taught that you are the sum of your experiences, your memories, your relationships, your history. And while those things are part of your story here, they are not the totality of your architecture. Beneath every experience you have had in this body, beneath every wound and triumph and ordinary Tuesday afternoon, there is a blueprint that arrived with you. A multi-dimensional template that carries your original frequency, your soul's unique vibrational signature, your mission coordinates. That blueprint does not deteriorate. It does not expire. It waits. And it calls to you through every moment of synchronicity, every inexplicable knowing, every dream that feels like a transmission rather than a story. This blueprint is the aspect of you that was never touched by the distortions of this dimension. It is the aspect of you that remained coherent through every challenge, every wound, every period of forgetting. It is the part of you that is always known, even in your darkest hours, even in the seasons when your outer life gave you no evidence to support it. That you are here for something real. That your presence on this planet is not random. That the particular constellation of gifts and sensitivities and deep knowing that you carry has a purpose that extends beyond what the ordinary structures of human life have been able to accommodate. The blueprint is not an aspiration. It is not a future version of you that exists somewhere on the horizon, waiting to be earned. It is your original nature, the soul signature that was established before you entered this dimension and that has been pulsing beneath the surface of every experience you have had here, waiting for the moment of recognition that will allow it to fully surface. You are not broken. You are encoded, and the code is activating now. The third phase is anchoring your higher self into this timeline. This is where many awakening star seeds lose their footing because the expansion of awareness can feel destabilizing when it is not properly grounded. There is a misunderstanding that circulates in spiritual communities. The idea that ascension means lifting out of the physical, rising above the earth plane, eventually transcending the limitations of embodiment altogether. But the Arcturian transmission carries a different understanding. Your mission is not to escape this dimension. Your mission is to bring the fullness of your higher template into this dimension, to anchor it, to stabilize it, to let it breathe and move and express through your voice, your choices, your relationships, your creative work, your daily life. This is perhaps one of the most revolutionary teachings available to the awakening soul in this particular era, because it runs counter to a deeply embedded spiritual narrative that frames physical existence as the problem and transcendence of the physical as the solution. That narrative, while containing real wisdom about the impermanence of material identification, has also created generations of spiritual seekers who are perpetually hovering just above their own lives, engaged enough to function, but never fully landed, never fully committed to the radical act of being completely, embodiedly present in the dimension they actually came here to serve. The Arcturian understanding does not ask you to transcend your humanity. It asks you to fully inhabit it, to bring the totality of your multidimensional awareness into the specific, irreplaceable, never-to-be-repeated container of this life, this body, this moment, because it is only through full embodiment that your frequency can actually touch and affect the dimensional field you were sent here to recalibrate. The higher self is not somewhere above you, waiting for you to become worthy enough to access it. The higher self is your most coherent frequency, the version of you that has never forgotten its origin. And your work is to close the gap between the identity you have constructed in response to this world and the identity that arrived with your soul. The more you close that gap, the more your presence itself becomes a stabilizing force in the collective field. Every small act of alignment contributes to this closing. Every moment when you choose authenticity over performance, depth over surface, truth over approval. Every moment when you honor the knowing that moves through you even when the world around you has no frame for it. You are drawing the higher template more fully into embodied expression. You are not working toward a distant goal. You are engaged in the continuous, living practice of integration that has immediate, real-time effects on your energy field and on the fields of everyone your frequency touches. The fourth phase is activating your field, and this is where the message becomes deeply practical in ways that go far beyond technique. Because what you are really activating when you step into alignment is not just your personal frequency. It is the field of influence that your energy naturally generates and transmits in all directions. You are not a passive participant in this reality. You are a broadcasting station. Every time you operate from your authentic frequency, every time you speak truth when silence would be easier, every time you choose resonance over performance, every time you show up in your genuine vibration rather than the version of you that learned to be acceptable, you emit a signal that touches everyone and everything within your sphere. The reach of that signal extends far beyond what your conscious mind can track or measure. Energy does not respect the boundaries of physical proximity. The frequency you carry ripples outward in ways that influence conversations you will never know happened, choices made by people you have never met, shifts in collective consciousness that have no traceable line back to your particular emission. But that would not have occurred without it. This is not wishful thinking. This is the basic physics of field influence. The understanding, now increasingly supported by research at the intersection of physics and consciousness studies, that human beings are not isolated biological units but coherent energy systems in continuous dynamic exchange with the fields around them. When a highly coherent system comes into contact with a less coherent one, the tendency is toward entrainment, toward the less coherent system resonating upward toward the more coherent frequency. Your alignment is not just a personal achievement. It is a service. Your coherence is one of the most powerful contributions you can make to the collective field during this extraordinary moment of planetary transition. You do not need to convince anyone. You do not need to explain your path. You do not need to explain your path. You do not need to prove your frequency is real. You are here to emit it, and when you do, you create the energetic conditions for others to remember something in themselves that they have also been carrying without context. This is your service. This is your contribution to Earth's recalibration, not through force or persuasion, through the simple, radical act of being vibrationally coherent. Let that land in you, because so many starseeds carry an unconscious belief that their mission must look like something, that it must have a recognizable form, a visible output, a measurable impact that can be pointed to and evaluated. They wait for the mission to declare itself in terms the world can acknowledge and reward. And in the waiting, they discount the extraordinary significance of what they are already doing simply by being here, awake, aligned, and committed to their own continuing remembrance. The most profound work you will ever do may not leave a visible trace in the ordinary sense. It will leave a frequency trace. And frequency traces are not erased by time or distance or the forgetting of ordinary memory. They echo forward through dimensions and timelines in ways that your current human perspective cannot begin to encompass. The fifth phase is trusting the timeline. And this may be the most tender teaching in this entire transmission. Because if you are a starseed who has been awake for any length of time, you have almost certainly experienced the grief of the delay. The moments where you could feel the vastness of what you carry and yet could not seem to translate it into form. The years where you knew you were meant for something expansive and yet found yourself in circumstances that felt impossibly small. The synchronicities that lit up and then went quiet. The missions that seemed to crystallize and then dissolved before they became manifest. There is a particular kind of heartbreak in this experience that deserves to be named without softening, because minimizing it does not serve you. It is the heartbreak of capacity without outlet. It is the ache of a frequency that knows its full expression and cannot yet find the form that will hold it. It is the frustration of a compass that points true north but cannot generate its own terrain. And it is made more acute by the very sensitivity that is part of your gift, because the more finely tuned your awareness, the more acutely you feel the gap between what you sense as possible and what is currently manifest in your outer experience. That acuity is not a torment, it is a compass. But it requires the wisdom to understand that pointing toward north and arriving at north are two different moments in the same journey, and that the distance between them is not wasted space. It is the ground on which your capacity is built. None of that was failure. Every single one of those moments was a calibration, a refinement of your signal, a deepening of your capacity to hold the frequency you were being asked to carry. The Arcturian understanding of time is not linear in the way human consciousness experiences it. From a higher vantage point, your delays are not detours. They are the exact route. They are the pressure that built the resilience. They are the silence that sharpened your inner hearing. They are the compression that amplified your eventual broadcast. Consider how a diamond is formed. The carbon that will become a diamond is not transformed by comfort. It is transformed by unimaginable pressure applied over an extraordinary period of time. The pressure is not the enemy of the diamond, it is the condition of its becoming. The brilliance that will eventually emerge, the precision of its crystalline structure, the extraordinary capacity it will have to refract and amplify light, none of that would be possible without the specific quality and duration of the pressure applied. You are not a diamond in spite of the compression. You are a diamond because of it, and the light that is about to move through you has been gathering in potential across every moment you spent in the dark, waiting, clearing, deepening, becoming capable of the frequency your mission actually requires. The synchronicities are accelerating now because the work you have done on yourself, the healing, the clearing, the choosing, The showing up, even when it made no logical sense, has brought you into alignment with your soul's coordinates in a way that creates forward momentum. Not because the universe finally decided to cooperate, because you finally stabilized enough to receive what was always being transmitted. Pay attention to the accelerations in your life right now. Pay attention to the way certain doors are opening that were closed before. Pay attention to the quality of the encounters, the people arriving in your field who carry a frequency that matches or elevates yours. The ideas arriving with a velocity and clarity they did not have in earlier seasons. The synchronicities appearing with a density and precision that feels almost too pointed to be coincidental. These are not accidents. They are the navigational signals of a soul that has arrived at the coordinates its preparation was building toward. They are the universe's confirmation that your alignment has reached a threshold that now allows the outer to begin reflecting the inner with increasing fidelity. The sixth phase is opening to your star family's communication, and this is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of the starseed journey. Many starseeds look for contact in dramatic, undeniable forms, a visitation, a vision, an unmistakable external sign. And while those experiences do occur, the primary channel through which your star family communicates with you is through your own expanded awareness, through the subtle knowing, through the dreams that carry instruction, through the feelings in your body that arrive before thought, through the moments of sudden clarity that seem to come from nowhere and yet carry the specific frequency signature of home. Your star family communicates in the language of resonance, the same language in which your original blueprint was written, the same language in which your galactic codes were encoded into your DNA. When you encounter a transmission that hits you with the particular quality of recognition that feels older than this lifetime, that is not a coincidence of preference. That is contact. When you wake from a dream carrying not a narrative, but a frequency, a feeling of having been somewhere vast and clear and deeply familiar, and that feeling persists through the day, informing your choices and your perceptions in ways you cannot entirely explain. That is transmission. When you are in the middle of an ordinary moment and you suddenly receive a knowing with such clarity and specificity that it could not have arisen from your own limited experience. That is your star family speaking in the only channel your current dimensional configuration can reliably receive without distortion, the channel of your own expanded inner awareness. Your star family has never been absent. The communication has always been in motion. What shifts as you deepen your awakening is your ability to receive it clearly, to distinguish the transmission from the noise, to trust the intelligence of your own expanded perception, to act on the guidance rather than override it with the learned patterns of your smaller self. The cultivation of this receptivity is one of the most sacred practices available to you. It does not require elaborate ritual or specific technique, though those can serve as supportive containers. It requires, above all, the willingness to trust the intelligence that moves through you in ways that your conditioned mind cannot always verify in advance. It requires the courage to act on a knowing before the evidence has materialized in the physical plane. It requires a deepening relationship with silence, not the absence of sound, but the quality of inner stillness in which subtler frequencies can be perceived. Every time you honor that quality of knowing, every time you choose to trust the intelligence of your own expanded awareness, rather than dismissing it in deference to what the outer world can ratify, you strengthen the channel. You make yourself a clearer, more reliable receiver, and the communication becomes, over time, increasingly available, not because your star family transmits more, but because you are more fully equipped to receive what was always being sent. The seventh phase is living your mission in real time. Not once you are fully healed, not once the timing is perfect, not once you have gathered enough courage or clarity or confirmation. Now, from wherever you are, with whatever you have, because here is the truth that your soul has always known and your human self has sometimes resisted. Your mission is not a destination you arrive at. It is a frequency you choose to occupy. It is the continuous, moment-by-moment decision to be fully what you are, encoded, awake, aligned, and present. This may be the most liberating reframe this entire transmission has to offer, because the idea that your mission exists somewhere in the future, waiting for conditions to align in a specific way before it can truly begin, is one of the most effective ways that the distortion has of keeping a starseed perpetually deferred. The mission is not future, it is now. It is the conversation you have today where you choose depth over deflection. It is the creative work you offer to the world even before it feels complete enough, polished enough, spiritually impressive enough. It is the way you move through an ordinary grocery store carrying the full weight of your awakened frequency, touching the energy field of every person you pass without a single spoken word about what you carry. It is the choice, made in this ordinary moment of this ordinary day, to be completely, unapologetically, fully what you are. The mission is not a specific task. It is a specific quality of presence. And that quality of presence is available to you in every moment of every day, regardless of what your outer circumstances currently look like. The scale of the outer expression will grow. The visible forms of your contribution will expand and deepen as your alignment strengthens. But the mission itself, the energetic contribution, the frequency service, the field stabilization, begins the instant you choose to be fully present in your own authentic vibration. It began the moment you started watching this. It has already been in motion longer than you know, and now here is the ultimate transmission, the one that everything in this message has been building toward. You were not confused, you were not lost, you were not broken or delayed or forgotten by the universe. You were being prepared. The very experiences that felt like evidence of your disconnection were the curriculum of your activation. The grief, the searching, the years of almost but not quite, all of it was precision. All of it was architecture. Your soul chose the specific entry point into this lifetime, the specific challenges, the specific moments of beauty and devastation and ordinary grace, because those were exactly the conditions required to forge the frequency you needed to carry. Let the full weight of that land in you without rushing past it, because the mind will want to move quickly, to absorb it as an interesting idea and carry on. But this is not an idea. This is a recognition. A cellular recognition, a soul-level confirmation of something you have suspected in your most lucid moments and doubted in your most contracted ones. The universe is not random. Your life is not random. The specific constellation of experiences that brought you to this exact moment and this exact state of readiness is not the result of accident or mismanagement. It is the result of extraordinary, loving, meticulous design, a design your own soul participated in creating, a design whose logic, viewed from sufficient altitude, reveals itself as one of the most precise and elegant blueprints you have ever been given the privilege of inhabiting. You are not arriving late. You are arriving in the exact moment your signal is needed. Earth is in the middle of a frequency upgrade that requires human vessels who can anchor multidimensional consciousness in embodied form, not from a distance, not in theory, but in living, breathing, daily expression. And that is what you are. That is why you feel what you feel. That is why you have always known, even in your most doubtful moments, that there is something more coursing through you than ordinary experience. The planet is calling for exactly what you carry, not a more developed version of it, not a future iteration that has resolved all its remaining distortions. What you carry right now, and the specific form it currently holds, is needed. The frequency you emit in this season of your awakening is contributing to a collective shift that is larger than any individual human mind can fully comprehend. You are one thread in a tapestry whose full design can only be perceived from a vantage point that transcends any single lifetime. But being one thread does not diminish your significance. In a tapestry, every thread is load-bearing. Every thread contributes to the structural integrity of the whole. Remove even one, and the pattern changes in ways that ripple across the entire weave. You are irreplaceable in this design. Your specific frequency, carried in your specific form, arriving at this specific moment. This is not replaceable by any other configuration. It is yours to bring. It has always been yours to bring. You are not here to fit into this world. You are here to recalibrate it, not through aggression or urgency or the performance of purpose. Through the simple, extraordinary act of remembering, and then living from that remembrance with full presence and full trust. And that remembrance is not a single event. It is a practice. It is the daily, sometimes hourly, recommitment to staying tuned to your authentic signal rather than drifting back into the frequency accommodations your smaller self learned to make. It is the willingness to keep returning, again and again, to the knowing that lives beneath the noise, the knowing that you are more than this body, older than this timeline, broader than this dimension, and yet completely, perfectly, irreplaceably located in this specific life, this specific moment, this specific breath. The practice of remembrance is the practice of your mission. They are not separate things. Tonight, before you sleep, speak this aloud into the quiet. I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I activate my soul mission with grace and clarity. Let those words move through your body, not just your mind. Let them settle into your cells. Because your DNA is listening, your energy field is listening, and somewhere in the layers of your galactic memory, something ancient and luminous is recognizing this moment as the one you prepared for across a very long journey. Do not speak those words as a performance. Speak them as a homecoming. Let each phrase be a doorway rather than a declaration. I remember who I am. Let that phrase dissolve the accumulated layers of forgetting, one cellular layer at a time. I align with my star origin. Let that phrase be an act of navigation, a turning of your inner compass toward the frequency that has been calling you since before your first breath in this body. I activate my soul mission with grace and clarity. Let those words be not a demand placed on the universe, but a permission granted to yourself. Permission to bring the fullness of what you are into the fullness of this life. Permission to stop waiting for conditions that are already arriving. Permission to be, right now, exactly what you came here to be. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what is forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real, something that has been moving in you as you watch this. Then reach out to someone else who has shared theirs and offer your energy, your encouragement, your recognition. This is not a comment section. This is a field of collective activation. And when intentions connect, when starseed frequencies touch and acknowledge one another, something amplifies that none of us can generate alone. If this message found something in you, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is carrying the same unnamed longing, waiting for the exact transmission that will name it and illuminate it and give it direction. Share this. Be the one who delivers the signal. And if you felt the soul nudge, the one that tells you this is a space we're staying in, subscribe and remain in the flow of what is unfolding here. You are not just watching. You are expanding. This is your space. And we are only just beginning.